seen something rain. Oh, they did trust.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
somebody saw something.
Trust me, y'all. Rain has asked me that for 6 days straight. Every day.
Every time we've talked
Oh,
about it.
you telling me that no, every day, y'all, for 6 days straight, Rain has
Yeah,
asked me that.
yeah.
So I said the judge said she never went to the island, but Warren said she and his father went there the day after. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, why is it taking so long?
They went on a little birdie to sing.
Yes. Uh, good live and discussion. Raw Society Coalition. Peace from Cali. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Peace from Cali. Uh, he said hello from Ireland. Okay,
Oh,
Ireland. Okay. Is it?
international.
Yeah. Okay. So shout out to everybody here again. If you would like to come up, this will be the last topic that we speak on tonight. But if you guys want to come up as well, we will have the lines open for a little bit if you want to come up. Tori said, "This is the good old boy club in Mississippi, and the cover up is real. Hopefully, the investigator Crump has will get answers soon. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I think what is his name? We just talked about Tristan.
Mm.
Tristan said it at the beginning. People don't know about Ocean Spring. We tight.
Mm.
He said a lot of stuff out loud that he I don't think he understood what he said.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're gonna be able to decode his whole speech. So here we go, y'all. Here's gonna be the shrimp boats talking about Nolan Wells and what we saw and why rumors need to stop. So here we go.
July 4th, America's 250th birthday. A day of fun in the sun on a Mississippi barrier island turns tragic. The United Cajun Navy jumps in on the search for Nolan Wells. On this episode of Shrimp Boots, we're going to get into it.
Some boys from Louisiana too.
There's additional flooding that's going on, and as that flood water starts to rise, it's making little islands and pockets of people that can't be reached.
People need relief and they need it right away.
So let me stop. Welcome in AC Minton Shenanigans. I do want to let you know. So we started off talking about this today. The first autopsy, the organs were released. The organs were actually in the body. They just couldn't be used because they were already detached from the body. So there was no nothing that they could find or use the organs for, but the organs were in the body. If you get a chance to go back to the beginning, you'll see the documents of the second autopsy that Ben Crump talked from. So that's the biggest thing. And I know everybody's asking about the throat missing as well. We talked about that as well. The throat being missing is actually normal in the autopsy. Even Dr. Roger Mitchell said that as well. Again, it is form of evidence that could have possibly provided some other evidence or some other information, but it wasn't nothing out of the norm. So, but again, if you guys are just coming in, when you get a chance to catch it on the rewatch, we break it down and it's actually all in the documentation. He told a lot to know. He told a lot to know. I think as soon as we determine what time of his unaliving, we'll determine who and where to go from there. I think so too. You're the first person to say that tonight. Good stuff. Good stuff. He said new sub here. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Just to be a little selfish, Conversation with Soft Rain does have her own channel as well. So everybody who's liking on the Raw Society page, if you're not on Souls of Thought page, make sure you like Souls of Thought and Conversation with Soft Rain. And if you guys are on Raw Society, you've seen some of the squad in the chat. Uncle Plug TV is a channel you can go follow. Classic Codes and Tez from the Tez Down. So we'll try to get those in the chat for y'all. Y'all can follow all our channels. We actually make up the Raw Society Coalition. And I think you guys will get a lot of great information from everybody. Everybody will have their own style. So I think you guys will enjoy it as well. So tap in with everybody. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for the sub. Black Warrior said, no, throat structure missing and discoloration near orbital lobe is consistent with the choke out or neck trauma. Again, we did cover it. There was another pathologist that covered it as well about the decoloration and what it could be caused from as well. So again, definitely go back and check us out because we did talk about it at the very beginning. But again, I think there could be two sides to each thing as well. So definitely thank you all for coming in. I'm putting in the chat everybody's pages if you guys want to tap in there. So we're going to go ahead and play the rest of this and see what we got from here. So here we go.
And we have generous donors and we have volunteers.
So Josh, July 4th, we think we have the day off, but we get a call. Young man's missing off of Horn Island, Mississippi. You eventually got in touch with the mother. Let's take it from the top.
Absolutely. So July 4th, right? And everybody's out there doing their thing. You know, I live out on the river, so I know what to expect sometimes when people party on that river. Start getting phone calls, frantic messages on social media. Help, help, help. You know, my cousin, my friend. And then, I dig into it a little bit, give yourself and Todd a call, said, hey, we got a hot one. Reach out to the mother reaches out to me. And it was bad. It was, your gut just drops.
Yeah.
So got that phone call, had some communication with mom, started asking her the tough questions, and unfortunately, sometimes those questions are, they're not nice or friendly. And I told her, from the beginning, hey, I'm going to ask you some stuff about your son. I just need the truth because it helps us, find out what's truly going on. And it's, 18 years old. Has he been drinking? Do you know if he's drinking or the previous day? And yes. But I also asked her a question that, was very interesting. I asked her if he could swim. And yes, he had taken swimming lessons as a child.
Yeah.
Extremely athletic.
Yeah, definitely. 6'1", 180 pounds, good shape, playing junior college football. Was in the middle of training. Matter of fact, there was some talk about how he wanted to kind of take it easy because he had a Monday morning workout he wanted to be fresh for and all that kind of stuff.
It's a shame. Every story that I've heard about this young man was good.
Yeah, rock star.
Absolutely.
Tons of friends. Tons of everybody in the community knew him. I got a lot of people I personally know from that part of the coast who had children his age. They known him since they were little, talked about how bubbly and kind he was. And it's like, man, to know this kid's love him, please find him. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do our best.
Absolute stud on the football field.
Yeah. Quarterback in high school, wide receiver for college, right? So
played
all athlete.
D2. I think that's Division II.
Southwest, yeah.
But with some aspirations and some potential of being a D1 athlete.
Yeah,
right?
Transfer up.
Yeah. And again, it's hearing these stories just about the kid, about, Nolan. There was one story in particular that, really said a lot about the person that he was, a good Samaritan, and really had a good heart. At one point in school, there was what I like to call an exceptional child with some learning disabilities. And Nolan had everybody in the class not raise their hand. So this kid could raise his hand and answer the question. Right. So it's just a feel good thing. And it makes me learn a lot about the person and then about the crowd he hangs out with.
Right.
Doesn't take away from the mission. It actually adds to the mission. So again, got the phone call from the mother. We put action into play really, really quick. You were there.
Yeah.
You were on the coast.
We'll just go with the timeline. Like, talk about the call on 4th of July. That was Saturday night. By Sunday morning, there was kind of no new news. And we had a couple of our Mississippi chapter volunteers reach out and say, hey, I got a boat. I got a drone. We went out there. They canvassed the island. They physically went on the island, flew the drone, ran a grid with their boat, put the drone up, looking in the water, looking over land. Even went to the center of the island where they had the lagoons and stuff. They sent me pictures saying, hey, look, there's cactus, there's thorny brush. There's no way he walked over here barefoot and fell in the lagoon. And so they spent the better part of the day out there, called it quits when the weather picked up. And that's when we huddled that night and decided, hey, it's time to go to the air. So we decided to put a bird up on Monday morning, July 6th. Yep.
So it was a donated bird, actually.
Yeah. Another volunteer reached out and said, hey, I got a plane in Gulfport, happy to go fly. I'm like, yep, you speaking my language. So we met up at First Light.
Wait, let's talk about this plane because I was going to go too. And it said experimental aircraft.
So
dude, I don't need that.
For those of you that don't know, experimental, the classification of experimental is either experimental or certified. Certified is the FAA designation that it's like a manufacturer that the FAA knows well, they know everything about the plane. But if you want to have worked on it, you have to have an A&P, an actual aircraft mechanic, and everything has to be logged. Experimental just means that you're allowed to work on it yourself. And a lot of times experimental planes, some people, like you hear about people buying something was found, and then I get the call from you, traversing back and forth over towards the northeast corner of Ship Island, and we're looking at the northwest corner of Horn Island, which was the last place that Nolan was seen by an eyewitness. So we're flying for a couple hours, and we start making one of our tracks back north. Notice a couple of boats on the beach that weren't there before. We descended. We started circling. we could see that there was and there was more boats coming in, like in a line, and they were obviously law enforcement boats or Coast Guard or whatever. They were official vessels, and they were starting to set up a command post on the beach. And we figured something was going on, something was found, and then I get the call from you or the text from you that said, "Hey, they think they found them," and so we did an RTB, and then so I get back. Kind of flip it back over to you. You're in Ocean Springs with Nolan's mom.
So I was at the boat. So I was at the boat.
This is Monday mid-morning.
9:00.
Yeah,
9:15.
So this is going to get very interesting because this is the first person that I know actually had contact with the Nolan family while they were searching. So very good information that they're about to provide.
Somewhere in there. So I got the call. Obviously, we were coordinating with the local law enforcement, Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, and great to work with.
So we just heard that the Jackson, Mississippi department was great to work with. So something to kind of think about, of course, we know all groups have bad apples. So the DA could be a bad apple. The sheriff, the head sheriff can be a bad apple. But for the people that people are working with daily, it seemed like they wanted to really work this out.
Reasons I got the call initially from Nolan's mother, as well as some of the families, that they felt that more could be done. Right? They personally felt, and this is with every family or every person that's missing. Hey, we want everything out there, and obviously we do that. That first day, that Sunday, we had 4 boats, 2 drones, multiple people on the ground. Our seaplanes were on standby as well. But after the island was clear, there was really no use for a seaplane, just based on a float plane, we'll call it, right? So yeah, I get the call from the Sheriff's Department, and I'm almost to the Lake Mars boat launch where the ICP was. And I found out before the mother. They called me.
ICP, Incident Command Post.
Incident Command Post, right? The sheriff.
Everybody knows our acronym. Our RTB means return to base, by the way. I said that earlier.
We need an acronym, Joe. You put a buck in every time you use it. So I get the phone call from the sheriff. Then the mother calls me immediately after. Sheriff calls me. He calls the mom. Mom calls me. And I asked her, she was obviously got the news. I asked her where she was. She was about 10 minutes out. So I'm at the ICP right there at the boat launch, literally just starting to meditate for a minute, right? Because I knew what was coming. Mother and father get there. And this is one of those stories that'll get you. Car pulls up. I see them coming. They're white Volkswagen, whatever. And mom gets out and runs to me. I mean, literally runs to me 15 yards, gives me the biggest hug ever, in tears, and collapses in my arms. It's one of those moments I won't forget. And it's a driving moment, right? From there, we literally sat on the ground, Brian. It was interesting. They offered the command post, the command vehicle for us to go sit in the air conditioning. I'm on the ground. She's on the ground. She's crying. I got my arm around her. Nolan's father was there. And it was just one of those surreal moments where, we're all saying a prayer, and we know that that's the beginning of some really hard times.
The worst day. Meet people on their worst day.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people ask me how I do it, right? Or how we do it as a team when we find.
So we're going to stop there. Just wanted to hear that, talk about that. Wanted to end tonight's show on the positive things about Nolan Wells, because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in covering the story that we forget about who the story is really about. Nolan Wells, regardless of what people had to say about him, he was a positive person, a great person to be around. And I think that's one of the things that really, really matter. And I think, too, watching these 2 men talk, coming from Louisiana, that's my hometown in Louisiana, watching people come from different states that are willing to help, willing to support a cause, it does give you some glimpse of hope, regardless of how divided things may see from the surface. I think there's still some decent people out there, not saying everybody, but there are some decent people out there. But I think the most important thing is to remember the positive things about Nolan Wells, right? And I would encourage everybody who's covering him to end your lives or your stories about the positive things, because that's what the mother asks all the time. And I think that's one of the things that we can at least do to provide some dignity to his name and remember the good. And, the devil will get caught up. They're starting to talk now, so things will come out very soon. Speaking to Mad Cow Moo, like he said, I think speaking the truth, I think a lot of people, I think fear is holding whoever back that knows the answer at this point. And I think that's going to be a big thing when it comes down to it. Welcome in Mr. Pilot J. He said Wyatt held him and Warren beat him. They left at Evans' house at 1 a.m. and Nolan died at 2 a.m. Wyatt's boat had Nolan's DNA on it. Wyatt's mother knows everything that happened because he told her. So, hey, Pilot J, we'll be covering that once we hear it and once it comes out. Thank you for that information. Tori said, this is so triggering for me as a mother who lost my only son July 5th. Oh, wow. Wow. Sorry about that. Again, prayers to you and your family of 2004. He was 21 and he was unalive coming home from work. Sean M. Williams. We're praying for you, and we'll keep his name in prayer. Sean M. Williams, rest in peace, young man. Rest in peace. You have a great and strong family and mother, because for her to be here in the chat today means a lot. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Williams. He said some of this may come out late this year or 2027. That's crazy, though. Thank you, Pilot J. Thank you. That's crazy. No. You good. You don't got to apologize. He said, sorry for coming in without saying hello. Been up all night. Prayers. Yeah. No, you good, big dog. We appreciate your information. I will give you all the credit when it comes out that you came in. Pilot J said it. So would not take your credit at all.
Yeah.
So we're gonna read some of these chats that are coming in currently. Do you got anything, Rain, at all? Y'all know Rain is a mother, so she gets real emotional as well. So that's why sometimes you'll start seeing me talk more to kind of give her a moment as she's processing over there. So I try to make sure she's good. Go ahead. I'll let you read.
Yeah, this is tough for everybody involved, especially his family. And speaking of being a mother of a biracial child, these situations that come up, unfortunately, the public has made it about race, which I wish that the public would not have done. But with that being said, just pray for all the mothers who have lost their children, and who don't know how their children passed too as well, and all mothers who have lost any child. They say it's difficult to bury your loved ones, but it's even more difficult to bury your own child that you bore, and you actually gave birth to. Tutai said, "Rain, but not cry. It's gonna be all right." Yeah, I get emotional around these things, and it's tough, because we want our children to experience the world. We want our children to have fun. We can't have that umbrella over top of them constantly. We want them to go out but the only thing that we can do is pray that they come back home. Pray that they're safe. Pray that the people around them have their best interests at heart. That will take care of them the way a mother would, essentially, But yeah, just big love going out to Christine and the Wells and Worsley family. I hope that that conviction comes with people who really know what happened and say, "Hey, I got to talk, and I have to say something now." But that's really it. Just pray for your babies every time they leave the house. Make sure you know where they're going. Make sure you know what they're doing, who they're with, the circle they keep. But yeah. And most importantly, just pray for the Wells and Worsley family tonight. Yeah.
Amen, Rain. Amen, Rain. I would tell everybody, man, I really want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. We have had over thousands of people come in and watch tonight. And I want you guys to understand that every time you come here, you're going to get facts. We're going to try to provide you information. If you want antics or if you want certain things, that's just not Soul's point of view. That's not how I move. Rain, this is Rain. What y'all gonna get every time from Rain? We're here to just try to move the needle, even if it's 1 inch at a time. It'll move us forward. I'm not here to say that racism doesn't exist. I understand that it does. I understand that racism would never leave us. I grew up in Louisiana. I understand it. I talk about my hometown a lot lately, so I understand these things. But my biggest goal is to just talk about what's going on. Can we get more information out there, and can we get people to get the right information? Because one thing I will say, as we spoke earlier today about the autopsy, right? Giving people the right information will help them in the long run. Listening to that room go awe and be in shock and awe when they were reading those results and not knowing what was normal and what was not. That's no different than people literally walking into real life trauma. That room, when you're reading somebody autopsy report, when you're reading somebody information, or you're doing a eulogy, that stuff is all trauma that people now have to take on that day. And I think we done had enough trauma, and I think we need to be able to move more in facts. But that doesn't mean that we don't care, or that we don't see things the way you might see them. I'm just bringing another side of it here, and that's all. Black Warrior said the neck keeps coming up for a reason. That I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. He said they didn't have to spike girls' drink to get them at 18 or sling weight around. Good night, everyone. It's been a long one for me. 2 a.m. DC's 4 a.m. dropped in the water. He was dead when they called it in. Yeah. Again, we're gonna give you all the information if you keep coming back, Polly. Appreciate you for that information, and get you some rest, big dog. Mad Cow